I might be biased because I know the guy behind it, but this jacket character pack trailer might be the best piece of Payday 3 media we've ever witnessed. It's absolutely sensational, totally catching me off guard with its dark initial presentation, before the synthwave kicks in and you get a kinetic run through all of the new features and mechanics arriving alongside the DLC pack. And you know what? I don't normally just play trailers one for one in my videos anymore, but with the Payday channel now being age restricted, I might as well share this one front to back. Enjoy. The kick about halfway through the gameplay section has got to be up there with the dentist swiveling in his chair and Hoxton's crash face as far as iconic Payday moments go for me. Just a spectacular trailer, especially for anyone excited to see Jacket coming to the game. The atmospheric intro allows the Payday channel to finally flex its 18+ rating with a bit of cloaker brutality, elevated by its crunchy sound design and infamous Jacket side-eye. This is also our first look at the character, who seems to be following quite closely to his Payday 2 blueprint. He still wears hand wraps instead of gloves, the letterman is still beige and brown with a light blue t-shirt underneath, and he's still sporting jeans and trainers, helping him to really stand out within the more refined modern day gang. The mask remains his vinyl rooster helmet, not the more feathered version we saw in the live action trailer. However, it has seen a few crucial touch-ups as well as some wear and tear over the years, much like the rest of the gang. The tapered feather effect has been carved in more emphatically, presenting more stylized and three-dimensional than it did in Payday 2. And in particular, more detail has been added around his eyes to give them a more piercing and slightly less gormless look, whilst the beak has been curved slightly to give it a more animalistic and sneering appearance. In general, he looks that bit more serious and intimidating, which I think works well given his background. It was always going to be tricky to do any more than these sorts of touch-ups though, seeing as he isn't Starbreeze's character, and his original Hotline Miami design is so sacred. The second thing you'll notice in the trailer is undoubtedly the music. It's just immense, one of Gustavo's finest pieces that has me wondering where this track is going to be used. If it's just a bespoke creation for the trailer and Spotify, it will be a crying shame. And if you're listening to the music, you'll have also picked up on a few new tape recorder voice lines shown off with impeccable timing. In total, I clocked 4 separate voices, each with their own clear style, provenance, and seemingly their own niches for interaction in-game. There's a gravelly male American voice that almost sounds like a movie trailer announcer.
The following has been approved for mature audiences only.
A female corporate ad voice which feels like the spiritual successor to Jacket's primary tape lady from Payday 2.
Cloaker is out of service.
A clean male British voice that sounds like it came straight from a nature documentary and was the one found in the live action trailer.
And crushes its enemies with devastating results.
As well as a final dramatized British voice that almost sounds like it's a recording from an old radio play.
Begone, demon!
The combination of the four sounds really dynamic and hopefully will bring more variety to how Jacket communicates than what we've gotten used to in the second game, although it is notable that they haven't shown off any of the infamous memeable lines from Payday 2 yet. This is similar to how Houston was handled, never dropping a "don't act dumb", so I do wonder if they'll ever play into that fan service side again. Personally, I'm fine with a bit of a hard reset for Jacket because his identity is so loosely defined, at least within the Payday series, that new tapes just means he can express new elements of his personality. I also think where distortion has been used, it's to pretty good effect, although there's only so much we can say off the back of hearing about 5% of his actual lines. In terms of extras arriving with the character, bearing in mind this is a paid DLC pack, we're getting what I assume to be a separate, customizable version of his mask, as well as a variant of Jacket's piece called Miami Decadence. This looks brilliant, but is unfortunately not its own unique gun. It seems to be a Ziv Commando preset, which means they're sticking to a similar format as they had for Clover and Houston. This decision will undoubtedly devalue the character pack, especially without something like a new perk deck releasing alongside it. However, there is something very interesting that might just make up for that value chasm. The Sociopath Overkill weapon, also known as Jacket's baseball bat, appears to be the first paid Overkill option. So instead of implementing a fully fledged melee system, they're adding a single functional melee weapon and price gating it for everyone who doesn't own Jacket. I won't say I'm thrilled with this idea, but I can see how it's tricky to add clear monetary value to a character pack like this one without something along these lines, especially after perk decks were binned. And you have to ask, is this as bad as I've just described? Maybe not, because keep in mind you can pick up any called-in Overkill weapons, so in theory, as long as someone on the team owns it, you should all have access to at least try it out. After all, surely this thing doesn't use ammo. Just keep in mind, I'm fairly certain you won't be able to activate any of its overskill specializations unless you own the DLC. Regardless, if we step away from the good value versus stupidly gated debate and just look at it objectively, this thing is bloody awesome. The sound, animation, and enemy ragdoll quality is top notch, creating what looks to be genuinely the most exciting Payday 3 gameplay I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong, it's silly, but fun kinda trumps all, especially at this stage in the game's lifecycle. It also looks at a glance to be more than viable. The bat is one-shotting everything it goes up against, including cloakers and heavies, which suggests its damage per swing is very high. It's also got an AoE effect, meaning it's not just limited to single target situations, allowing it to possibly hang with the other top tier Overkill weapons. Regardless of its viability though, it just looks fun to use, which is comfortably the most important thing for me. What you will have to think about though is the fact that this is going to be part of the new Overkill system, allowing you to level up and customize your Overkill weapons to get more value out of each drop. Not only does that pretty much confirm the system is releasing with this next update on February the 3rd, it also means that the bat might not be as valuable due to its upgrade path. For instance, we already know the Red Fox can gain a graze-like effect and the Mamba can drop cluster grenades, so there's going to be a lot of relearning to be done once the update drops. I'm not even sure if the AoE swings will be default, or if we're already seeing an overskill upgrade during this gameplay. Overall, I'm really excited for this system's implementation. It's not the game changer I expect something like Armor 2.0 to be, but it's a very positive step in the right direction to give us more room to roleplay for specific tasks, and I will be excited to try out this sociopath playstyle as soon as I get the chance. It's just a shame it will be locked behind a paywall, which is extra gutting when I refuse to recommend buying any Payday content until the offline mode situation is addressed. Do as I say, not as I do and all that. Finally, this DLC will also include a nifty Richard 1989 sticker and Letterman charm that might not shift copies, but are still a nice sweetener. Overall, I'm a fan of this trailer and do believe they've done Jacket justice. As I said in a recent video, this next update should be a good one. It was likely held back from last year, and so filled with all the previously complete content before the infamous reduction of investment. I assume that Jacket is viewed internally as a potential launchpad to rekindle interest in the title, especially with lapsed fans of Payday 2. I imagine they're operating on the principle that if this does well, they'll ramp up more, but if even this last roll of the dice doesn't, there truly is no hope for Payday 3, and they'll take it out to pasture. That in mind, I don't want to quell excitement for a trailer this good, but I do want to reissue that warning. There is a lot of uncertainty around Payday 3 right now. Your purchase might help to make that no longer the case in the future, but doing so at this stage is always going to be a gamble. It's sink or swim, and I'm taking every day as it comes. It just so happens today was a good day, so congratulations to Starbreeze on a wonderful trailer. I'm imagining Jacket hype is at a fever pitch after this one, looking forward to seeing him in game on the 3rd. For now though guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the dynamics of this paid DLC. Do you think the Sociopath Overskill weapon is fair recompense, or too much to hide behind a further price tag? Take care, and of course, I'll see you all in the next video.
A huge thank you to my dedicated Patreon backers. If you want to join this crew in going infamous, check out the link below and pledge as little as $2 to see your name in the credits, or get 24-hour early access to future videos and vote on upcoming content. Take care, I'll see you all soon.